The night the chief came for her, the whole village held its breath.
I will give you wealth, land, and comfort.
But you will do me.
The square of Ndiaku village was lit with tall bamboo torches that hissed and spat sparks into the dark sky. The harmattan wind carried dust across the red earth. Drums were beating, not in celebration, but in announcement. Something important was about to happen. At the center of the square stood Amora. Barefoot, chin lifted, wrapper tied firmly around her waist. Her palms were slightly sweaty, but her spine was straight. Across from her sat Chief Okoro, the wealthiest man in Ndiaku. His flowing agbada shimmered under the firelight. Coral beads circled his thick neck. Two guards stood behind him like carved statues. The entire village surrounded them in a wide circle. Women whispered behind folded wrappers. Young men watched with curiosity. Elders sat stiffly on wooden stools. The air was heavy with expectation. Chief Okoro leaned forward slowly, his voice deep and controlled. Amora, he began, I have watched you grow. You are hardworking, beautiful, different from other girls. He paused, letting his words settle. I am offering you a life of comfort. A new house for your mother. Land. Security. You will lack nothing. A murmur of approval rippled through the crowd. Amora's heart pounded against her ribs like the drums behind her. She could hear the blood rushing in her ears. This is the moment, she thought. Her mind flashed images in quick succession. Her mother coughing at night from exhaustion, their leaking zinc roof during rainy season, unpaid market debts, empty cooking pots. 1 year, and everything changes. But another image rose just as quickly. Her reflection in a mirror she once saw at the market, eyes hollow, trapped in a mansion that wasn't hers. Chief Okoro's voice cut through her thoughts. You will stay in my city house, he continued. You will be mine alone. You will not question my decisions. And in return, your family will never know poverty again. There it was. The condition. The conflict. The village held its breath. Mama Grace, her widowed mother, sat among the women. Her fingers trembled against her wrapper. Hunger had visited their home too often. This offer could end their suffering. Amora swallowed. She felt fear, a real, heavy fear. Not fear of the chief's power, but fear of choosing wrong. Fear of condemning her mother to more hardship. What if I am selfish? What if pride feeds no one? What if this is the only door that will ever open? Chief Okoro's eyes narrowed slightly. He was not used to silence. Speak, he commanded gently, but firmly. Amora lifted her gaze and met his eyes directly. The drum slowed. Chief, she began, her voice steady though her chest felt tight, I respect your position. I respect your generosity. The crowd leaned closer. But I cannot accept. Gasps erupted. The chief's jaw tightened. Do you understand what you are refusing? Yes, she replied softly. I understand I am refusing comfort without freedom. A ripple of whispers tore through the circle. Chief Okoro stood slowly. His presence alone carried weight. You would rather struggle in poverty than sit beside me in wealth? He asked, disbelief creeping into his tone. Amora's hands trembled slightly, but she clasped them together to steady herself. I would rather build slowly than belong to someone who sees me as property. The words landed heavily. The chief's face darkened. "You are bold," he said coldly. "Boldness does not fill empty stomachs." Her mother's eyes filled with tears. This was the peak, the edge of everything. The conflict was no longer private. It was public, social, cultural. In Ndiaku, refusing a chief was not common. Some would call it foolish. Some would call it disrespect. Chief Okoro stepped closer. "Think carefully," he warned. "Opportunities like this do not return." Amora felt the weight of the entire village pressing against her back. The heat of the torches. The smell of dust. The judgment. For 1 second, doubt almost won. But then she remembered something her father once told her before he died. "Freedom is the only wealth no one can take from you." She inhaled deeply. "I have thought carefully," she said. Silence. "I choose my freedom." The drums stopped completely. Chief Okoro stared at her for a long moment. Pride wounded. Authority challenged. Then he laughed, but it was not amusement. It was disbelief. "You will regret this," he said, turning away. "When hunger visits again, remember tonight." He signaled to his guards and walked away. The square slowly dissolved into scattered whispers. Some shook their heads. Some admired her courage. Some pitied her. Mama Grace approached her daughter, eyes wet. "Why?" she whispered, torn between pain and pride. Amora held her mother's hands tightly. "Because if I enter his house without dignity," she said gently, "I will never truly leave it." That night, the village slept with divided opinions. But the story did not end there. Days turned into months. The chief withdrew any business support from their market stall. Customers avoided them out of fear of displeasing him. Poverty tightened its grip. There were nights they ate only gari soaked in water. Amora questioned herself again. Did I destroy our only chance? Yet even in struggle, she refused to bend. Instead, she searched for scholarships beyond Ndiaku. She studied borrowed textbooks by lantern light. She filled out applications secretly. One afternoon, a letter arrived. She had been awarded a partial scholarship to study business administration in the city. The journey was not easy. She worked as a cleaner in the mornings and studied at night. Men approached her again, wealthy men who admired her beauty and ambition. "We can make this easier," one would say. But she remembered the village square. The torches. The chief's eyes. She had already faced the highest pressure. Nothing else could intimidate her now. Years passed. She graduated top of her class. Started a small trading company. Turned it into a supply chain business. Built partnerships. Saved wisely. Invested boldly. Amora became not just successful, but respected. And one day, dressed in a tailored suit, stepping out of a sleek black car, she returned to Ndiaku. The same red earth. The same square. But this time, the drums beat in celebration. She built a community health clinic in honor of her father. Expanded the market stall so traders could walk comfortably. Created microloans for young women so they would never feel forced to trade dignity for survival. Chief Okoro watched from his veranda. Older now. Quieter. Power had shifted. Not because she fought him, but because she refused him. When young girls asked her years later how she found the courage, she would smile softly. The hardest battle is the one between hunger and dignity, she would say. If you win that, you can win anything. And so, the peak moment in the village square became legend. Not because a rich man made an offer, but because a young woman said no, and meant it. Her resolution was not immediate comfort. It was long-term freedom. And in choosing freedom, she created wealth no one could control. Thank you for watching. Do well to like, share and subscribe for more storytelling content.